So should I start?
Just hold on. Maybe recording something. Okay, Vijay, you can start now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Vijay Agrawal from One Earth Realtors. And first of all, I would like to thank FinPro family for giving me this opportunity to basically share my knowledge on real estate. And I think this is the first time in FinPro platform I'm talking about real estate, which is actually my core business. Otherwise, people have seen me doing some different things at all in FinPro. So let me just start the journey. So if you can see in the screen, you can see a tunnel kind of thing. So Rajan Bhai was saying it is basically I am Ahmedabad. So I don't know which is this, but what I'm trying to say is at end of every path, you can see the light, and here also you can see the light. So we'll start our presentation with that. And since if you know, I have basically asked questions people in their personal chat what they want to hear, and based on that I have selected my presentation. And this is basically a purely question answer based session where I have not tried to give any presentation. I have just taken the questions of all the people who have asked me the questions, and I have put the name also. So starting with but it has been basically put in systematic manner so that you can understand the journey. So now the first thing I'll be sharing the survey report, and this is the longest ever survey report done by for any of the company, where they have taken real estate, equity, gold as and stock as a parameter. And if you see, it has already seen in 17 years, it has already seen twice the what you can say downfall in the economy. And still, if you see the results, so I'll just share the results with you. It's basically in front of you. So base is 100 what has been taken. So when I say 100, so the point what has been given is 100, and out of 100, after different year, after 17 years, if you see the performance of each and every sector, so real estate has basically outperformed everything else. So when we talk about gold and silver, or that matters equity and stock, but if you see, real estate is the clear-cut winner with basically, if you see 20 times whatever we have invested, whereas equity comes a distance second. So this is the idea of basically the survey report, where somebody has asked me what are the different modes of investment and what is the best mode. So this question is asked by Manish Hegde from Pune. Thanks, Manish. Now the second thing is again a question which is asked by Manish Hegde again. So he is asking, in every situation when you talk about the real estate, there's a confusion about whether we should go for commercial shop, office, flat, or any plot. See, I think this is something which is very, very common and very, very thought-provoking question when we think of real estate. So just to give you an idea, this is basically as per my understanding and knowledge, I have basically bifurcated it in 4 parts. So for me, commercial shop basically stands out. If you see post-COVID and pre-COVID, both the situation, there are certain things which we have taken post-COVID and there are certain things which we have taken pre-COVID. So now currently we're talking about the post-COVID thing. So if you see, commercial shops are basically the investment where we should look forward for. Basically liquidity is highest. So nowadays you must have heard everybody is talking about liquidity. It is not about what kind of volume or what kind of value you are having. It's about what kind of cash you are having. So somebody in our group says cash is the king. So yes, when you invest in commercial shop, the liquidity is much faster than the commercial office. And now post-COVID, if you see, this is the comparison which I have done pre-COVID, where the returns on investment was on commercial office was high as compared to commercial shop. But if you see in post-COVID, there are certain people, the traditional conservative people, they always used to say, boss, we want only shops, not offices, because office is something which is abundant as compared to shops. So we'd always like to go for shop. And now if you see in post-COVID situation where work from home will be the future, so we can see a lot of things happening and changing. So here, if you see, clear-cut winner is a commercial shop. There is NA plots also and residential flats also. I'm not going into detail because everything is there, and I will be sharing this presentation. So not making much of the time, I'm straight away going in the second thing. Now, somebody asked me, is basically Ashish from Pune has asked me, work from home culture and what will the impact on commercial real estate. So again, this is something which I wanted to discuss. And since Ashish has asked this question, so I have just thought to do some research post COVID, because pre COVID we were completely aware what was the impact on commercial real estate, but post COVID situation was totally different. So what I have done basically, if you see, there are three or four different aspects. So if you see, commercial office will be majorly impacted because of the work from home culture. And I have taken certain research, and I have taken certain sources also, like ET says future rental appreciation also dipped during the quarter, as 50% stakeholder expecting rent to either remain stagnant or slide under the current uncertain economic scenario. So this is the experts which I have taken, and if you see on the right hand side, I have given the links also. If you can go click the link, you can see the complete presentation over there, or complete details over there. So I've just taken the cue from that, which gives the idea that yes, commercial real estate has been a big hit. Again, we have done a webinar on this particular topic, force majeure. Force majeure will be basically invoked by a lot of companies, and I'm not talking about the rental part. I'm talking about the company which is already on the ongoing lease part, where they will be invoking the because of using force majeure, they will be invoking their lease rental agreement, and they would like to do a fresh agreement with the tenant or with the owner, where the yield will definitely come down. Or either they will say that since we have taken, let's say example, 1 lakh square feet of area, now we want to just use half of the area because we'll be going from work from home culture. So again, there will be tweak in the lease rental part. So we can see this is basically the source from Livewire. Again, in Livewire, it says that demand and supply disruption will always happen. Since we understand there are a lot of office spaces which are already there, and there are a lot of material already in the pipeline. Now, the existing tenants are not willing to occupy the space, and they are in a position, or they want to leave the space. So there will be always a disruption in demand and supply also, which will actually going to hit the commercial real estate office segment. Lastly, the JLL says the leasing volume will slow down and renewal will become the preferred choice of tenant. Now, when there are a lot of cases where the tenant will be having the renewal due in June or May, there are a lot of people who start their year on the 1st of April. So a lot of things come there. So that can be again a problematic thing, where the tenant will like to basically go for new set of rules and regulation. So in nutshell, if you see, because of the home culture, yes, commercial real estate office will be going to be a major impact. Now, this is something, a very, very interesting thing, which a dear friend of mine has asked. What is the outlook of investor community post-COVID? So basically, if you see, as per my view, the investor community, especially if you see the institutional investor, will defer their investment part. But at the same time, if you see, this is the best time for any retail investor to get into the market. But I would suggest to go only for commercial shops. If and only if you are getting a throwaway price deal for offices or distress sale, then only you should go. But again, a word of caution: if you are having sufficient balance for next 1 year only, then you should think of taking any extra loan and going for investment. And as far as if you see residential flat, end user will be the main dominant factor who will buy the housing thing, but they will also go for affordable housing. And as per the Outlook India, it says that the people who will be buying the flat will be in the range of 25 years to 45 years. So generation X, Z, or X, whatever you say, are the people who have basically crossed 50. They will not be interested to buy new homes. It will be the minimal who will be like to buy the new homes. Now, Sanjay ji and Madhav has asked a very interesting question. See, these are the people who are very positive, so they always look for the new opportunity. So at the time of this COVID era also, they are asking what can be, how you see leasing as an asset class for retail investor. As in the previous slide, I have mentioned that this is a right time to invest. So again, they have specifically asked for the commercial thing. So I would say in commercial also, there is a two distinct categories. Earlier, we used to say commercial and residential pre-COVID. Now post-COVID, the lingo will be changed. Commercial shop will be different, commercial office will be different, and residential as usual always be different only. So there will be clear cut distinction between commercial, office and shop, and I would always say to go for shop at this point of time. Now this is very interesting thing, and which I would like to touch base upon as far as warehousing is concerned. So if you see the complete arena from last 2 years, we are seeing that a lot of movement happening in the warehousing segment. There are a lot of foreign funds also which are coming here. And now post COVID, when we understand that work from home culture will be definitely going to come in. So a lot of e-commerce and logistic companies will be looking to expand their business since the consumption will increase. For example, when you go to office, a lot of things is taken care by the office people only, and they buy in bulk. Whereas when the people will be working from home, the consumption pattern will change. So when you talk about the consumption pattern changing, so this e-commerce website will come into picture. So warehousing will be definitely a very interesting segment. And the best part about the yield also, if you see the previous slide, commercial office and commercial shops won't give the kind of return what warehouse it is. The only thing is the investment part. The entry barrier in the warehousing segment is little high. You can say in a tune of 3 crores to 5 crores. Whereas you want to buy a shop, you can buy at 60 to 80 lakhs also in shop. Office, if you want, you can buy in 40 into 60 lakhs also. But whereas if you talk about warehousing, the minimum criteria basically goes high. So this is something where, again, there are a lot of things which is coming, development is happening in this area where people are basically making a cartel, making a LLP, and then going for warehouse as an investment. But I would say in today's era, warehouse can be a very good investment, and which is being proved by the Hindu business line also. Now again, I have given you the picture pre-COVID, where I have taken a survey of 17 years and I have tried to prove that that time, whatever the survey report says, it was pre-COVID, where it says that real estate was the out and out winner. Now I have done some research and found out what now currently people are saying. So Anarock is basically a company, they are into complete leasing all across India, and they are in the tune of JLL and CVR, Cushman & Wakefield. And they says, according to this is survey, and I have attached the link also, it says 48% people, 48% of the respondents says that they will still prefer real estate. And the only change, if you see here, is in the stocks. Earlier it was equity, now it is stock. It says 25% will be going for stocks, 18% will be going for equity, and rest 9% will be still preferred the conventional model, that is FD. So what I'm trying to say here, I have given two comparison, post-COVID and pre-COVID, but in both the scenario, real estate remains the first choice of the investor. Thank you, Ritesh, for asking this question. Now, these are some of the things what people have asked, and apart from that, I would like to share some critical factors when you do investment in the property. So I would just start with some do's. Whenever you are doing or planning any investment in the property, so these are certain factors which, according to me, are most critical one. First of all, it has to be very clearly defined about your financial goal. Why you are willing to buy this property? It is for long term, it is for short term, it is just for an investment, or it is you want that after a certain time you will sell this and it will be required for your funds, future education, or daughter's marriage, whatever may be the case. The financial goal has to be very clear, because depending on that, the investment module will be decided. And before investment, most important thing, don't go by herd mentality ki yahan pe acha mila to just go and book. Don't do that. Just do a proper research, look a lot of properties, and then only you invest. Lastly and importantly thing is, you have to do your ROI calculation also. What are the funds, source of fund you will be utilizing? What are the future commitment you will be having in coming 2 to 5 years? And based on that, what is the return this particular investment will be giving to you? So all these factors is basically important while investing in the property. And lastly, location also plays a very important role. In fact, I would always say, in the way you talk about film industry, they always say everything is entertainment. In real estate, everything is about location. If you have got a right location, no matter it's whatever the situation, you will always get a buyer. If you are not in a good location, whatever price or discount you give, you might end up giving more discount or not being completely sold out. So this is what, with experience, I'm telling you this thing. Now, there are a lot of people who basically want to buy, but they do a lot of research and ultimately they don't buy, and basically they don't buy any property and they just do all these things what I have shown here. So just quickly, I'll read out. So some will attend a lot of books, they will read a lot of books, they will do a lot of discussions, but they will keep all this info in their shelf. They will not basically go and buy the property. Secondly, they will always postpone their investment because they are looking for the perfect deal. But my dear friend, that perfect deal doesn't come. The moment you decide, there are certain definitely things has to be taken care. The moment you decide that you have to buy the property, I think that is always a right time. And I always say, buying the real estate, you should you should have purchased it yesterday, not today, not tomorrow. And most important thing, when people go for a short term site where they say, "Arey, बहुत अच्छा discount मिल रहा है या बहुत अच्छा deal मिल रहा है," there is a common lingo, chance में property मिल रही है. I would always say, please don't go for that kind of chance, because if you are going to buy a 100 rupees MRP thing, do you think that customer or that shopkeeper will give you that particular thing on 60 rupees or 80 rupees? If and only if he can give, if there is a problem in that particular product. शायद से खुला हुआ किसी ने यूज कर लिया, कुछ तो ऐसा प्रॉब्लम रहेगा. That is the reason. Same thing is the logical thing which happens with the property market also. So you have to be very, very clear when you are talking about this thing, and when you get some deal which is basically called as chance. And lastly, don't buy property where you are not able to visit at least once a year. So it's a very logical thing. There are a lot of people who says कि मैंने एक बहुत बड़ा प्लॉट लेके रखा हुआ है, 2 एकड़ का मेरा पे खेत है. अच्छा, कहाँ पे? They don't know. है कोकण के पास में, सी व्यू है, टच में, रिवर टच है. So you never know the open plots, or for that matter, I would say flats also. You should not buy property where you're not able to visit that particular property at least once a year. And this is very important. It's not that मेरा भाई है वहाँ पे या मेरा चाचा है, not like that. You should visit personally. You should see from your eyes what is going with your property, then only buy. Otherwise, you should always plan to buy in your nearby vicinity. Now, with my experience, I would like to share some of the tips which I understand can be useful. And these are the tips basically, I would say it is as per my experience. People will have a different sort of experience based on their knowledge and other thing. But this is what I would like to share. Important and first thing is rotate your money every 3 years to get the best ROI. Normally people says, I have purchased a plot and this will be my retirement deal. My dear friend, that is not the real estate works. Your money should be rotated every 3 years. If I can show you a calculation where if you just start rotating your money at the rate of 12% per annum also. So let's say you have invested in a property where it is starting to go into launch, or we can say pre-launch. You have just entered into that and you have exited 3 years. So decently you can be getting something around 40 to 50% of return in 3 years. So if you see those kind of things, that will be a right investment. Whether you invest in property, land, or release, whatever, I would say just try to rotate your money every 3 years. बोलते हैं ना, पानी रुके रुके खराब हो जाता है. Same with the money also. And don't forget to think from compounding. Suresh ji always talks about compounding. So money also works in that principle. People who are millionaire, billionaire, they use the principle of compounding. And second thing, investment should always be done in the developing area. Don't do any kind of investment which is very, very far off and which will give you returns in next 10 years, 15 years. Don't do that. 1 year, 2 years is okay. But buying a property at a very, very large distance, let's say 70, 80 kilometers outside of the city, is not going to help, because it will take the same time to develop where the other property will be developing much faster. So if you just keep the 3 years rotation thing in your mind, everything will be sorted. As I said in my earlier thing also, if you can put the money in pre-launch properties, if you are connected to some good developer, but I would always say go only for reputed category A developer who has at least done 8 to 9 lakh square feet of project, who has delivered at least 6 to 7 projects, then only I would say to consider the pre-launch offer of those builders, because that is a place in real estate. We always say the money will be doubling or tripling, deciding what is your entry point. Your entry point will decide what kind of return you'll be getting in real estate, and that is very, very crucial. I'm sure everybody from finance field, they will agree to this thing, that entry point is very, very important in real estate. And as per me, pre-launch is a right time. If you're investing for land, so always invest land in NA plots only. Don't go for open land or Guntevari land unless until you are having a big consortium where you can going for 50, 60 acres of land and somebody is going to take care. Otherwise, from a retail perspective, where you are looking for 5,000, 10,000 square feet of land, always go for NA land only. That is my suggestion, because there's a lot of technical things involved which cannot be covered in that short time. But short and sweet, go for only NA land. And when you're investing in any land, it has to be very, very important that the road approach has to be there. If the road is not there, then it is not advisable to invest in that property, because if the road is not there, then the return on that particular property will not be very, very high as compared to other property. So I always say, don't invest seeing what is the value you're getting for that particular property. See what is the return expected, because ultimately you are an investor. You are not going to keep that property. Whether you talk about flat, you talk about shop or land, it is important which money or which project will fetch you good ROI. That is the most important thing. It is not about the size, it is about the quality. And lastly, before investing either in land or in property, check the credentials of builder. It is very, very important, because you are investing your hard-earned money. Now there are certain questions which other people have also asked, so I'll just take one by one. And since some of the questions I have already covered, so I have just mentioned their name. The questions were relevant, so that's why I've taken it again. So like Manoj from Mumbai says, why don't you add information about foreign investment sources or opportunity in real estate? So Manoj, my answer is very, very simple. There are a lot of people in our FinPro who are basically looking into that particular area. So I would not like to go into that area, because as a person, I am not a finance guy. So I'll not be able to answer this question. But yes, as far as opportunity in real estate is concerned, it is enormous. Currently, I would say warehousing is something where we should be looking for. In fact, our company is also looking for warehousing only at this moment. Now, Akshay has asked a very beautiful question. What is the future of real estate in a coming decade? So that's very, very futuristic and visionary question. So Akshay, I think I've already answered this question by my 2 slides, where I have shown the comparison post COVID and pre-COVID. So I think that question also get answered. And there is one good suggestion which has come from Gajesh, so I have tried to involve that also. He says, why don't you expand your expertise in real estate in other cities also in active collaboration? So the only thing is, since land is something which requires a lot of due diligence as far as your area is concerned, there are a lot of other things also involved. So we always would like to prefer in Pune city also. But yes, now seeing the condition and seeing the things changing, might be we can now opening up for other things also. But that too, not in residential commercial project. If we at all think of moving out from Pune, we will be definitely looking for warehousing. Yeah. And lastly, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity given to me, and thanks for listening patiently to me. Thank you. And I'm stopping my presentation. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Vijayji. It was a very, very good presentation. In fact, it has set a new trend for all the other members as well.